though. I am from Yorkshire, or originally Greek family. Interesting. And you're up in Yorkshire, England. What are the dander setters really for? Prisons. They're going to be prisons for all the um, dark dark NPCs that love their little guy with the horns like this. Yeah, yeah. We have so many running around this world of ours. So worry of bad news. I know. Getting very tired. I know we are. I mean, it's really really taxing. But this is the biggest sting operation on the planet, and I just want to say that this thing that's going on in California with this last election and all these mailed in, you know, paper ballots, whatever they were, is very obvious that it was all been staged and, very fraudulent. And it's basically an exposure to expose all the candidates and basically, send the military in and clean them out. There is military right now. There was a whole bunch of choppers come in. They were the Blackhawks that came in. I mean, that was, and you can see that there were Blackhawks. So there was a special forces coming in and right into L.A., right into San Diego and San Francisco, and they were taking them down right as we speak. Right now, they're taking them down. So I don't think our commander's waiting around for it. I mean, they needed to have them to commit the crime so they can do the time. And they're being picked up right now. Thousands and thousands of them are being picked up right now, all around the United States. Yeah. And I'm noticing Hueys coming up here. They're not the Blackhawks, but they are the Hueys. They are American, and they're coming up and picking up, alligators up here in Canada as well. Not that many, but it's probably just the more violent, severe, alligators. The illegal migrants coming into Britain are either engineers, or medicals. I got you. So that's what they're calling themselves. I'm coming in as an engineer or through medical. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, they're still going to have to go back home. Yep. How you doing, London? How you doing, Karen? Karen Kearns. How you doing? Put a picture out there. Show your smile. Can't. I'm have to decline. Gabriel from Melbourne, Australia. Yes, must be about 11:30 there. 11:20. Getting late, I know, but it's the best. The only time I got is right now is to come on for everybody. Arkansas is by Texas and Oklahoma. Gotcha. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Arkansas girl. Yep. Makes sense. Probably beautiful there. Yeah. You probably got more trees and, than say, along the southern tip of, like down in Austin and Houston. I know my cousins lived in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, back in the day. Yes, I know. Thank you very much for that note. I mean, I know there's a lot of New Yorkers that love Trump, because they're critical thinkers and they have common sense. you know, a lot of people out there don't have common sense. I get it. They're completely controlled by and programmed. They're basically programmed. Yeah, they're programmed by the media, and they've already committed the crime. And but I guess they're what did Trump say? He says we're going to get every one of these bad actors. We're going to catch them all. We got it all. We got, and that's what he said as well. He said we got them all. So let's just watch the fireworks. Texas and Arkansas are connected. Thank you. Yeah. Texarkana. Thank you. The town is Texarkana. Thank you for the lesson for today, because I had a hard time with that. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Texarkana. We all know now. You love all my doubles. Well, I don't have any doubles other than the ones that are trying to steal my content to steal everybody's money. I am only on live on TikTok here, okay? And for the life of me, I don't know how I'm still going here. But if I can just last another month or two or 6 or 7 weeks, then I can get into the Philippines and change my number. And I don't care what happens there. I can keep changing numbers and keep coming back under my same face and everything. But I'll keep, it's easy for me to. It's harder for them to knock me off my pedestal. How you doing, Tony? No, nothing's over yet. Rachel or Patrick? Yeah, it's Patrick. I can't see. Alabama. Okay, Albania protest. I didn't see about that one yet. There's an Albanian protest going on. That's good. Like I said, it's going to get to a point where we all have to rise up. And, I believe that our commander is going to, bring down the whole system. So it's open, fair game. And, we're in a fight. There's just no doubt about it. We're in a fight, and, but I know that we're clobbering them, absolutely clobbering them. It's like the score is like, let's say 77-0 right now. They can't score any points other than their minions on the sideline screaming like a bunch of, coyote lunatics. That's all they can do. Is 925 silver worth it? Yes, absolutely. It's worth 9.25%. Or 9.25. So you got 99%, so that would be like 90%. Okay, so that would be 90% 0.25. 90.25% silver. So you only have 0.75 of maybe copper or nickel or zinc. How's it going, Matt? Yes, it's very, very good. Yeah. So you just like if you melt it down or do a meltdown, and put the borax in there, clear it out there, it might, it might clear it up to where you have 100%. But at the worst case scenario, you'll still get 90% 0.25 value for that silver. And silver is going to skyrocket anyways. It doesn't really matter. I'm expecting $2,000 Canadian silver an ounce, and I could be undervaluing it. How's it going? Oh, okay. So Arkansas is pronounced Arkansas. Okay. Yeah, unless you're from there, it's hard to, get into the lingo, right? Yeah, because there's so many different names. And, it's pretty, I've always loved that area. Thank you. Good morning to you. Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that the man died. We're going to put all our beautiful patriots out there are going to put our prayers out for his family. Yeah, it's it's very very sad that people that's why I'm saying we have to defend ourselves more. You know, carry things, anything to protect yourself, because these jihadis are very very weak, and the only thing they got on their side is surprise. So if we keep our heads on a swivel, we can see the rats coming. People are getting crazier with all that's going on. I know it's because uh, our beautiful planet is ascending. We are all moving into 5D, and they're being left behind. And a lot of them, basically, they're not even on the Richter scale. Most have just 2 and 3D in consciousness, but a lot of them are NPCs. And like I said before, and I'm confirming again, only south of 6 billion is on this planet. Another scary, well, it's not even a scary thought. There's a billion people or a billion Chinese missing in China. A billion. It's not 1.5 billion people. It's 500 million. Yep. Between 4 and 500 million. They have about the same population as the United States does. Yeah. And that's being information's coming out of China from the Chinese. They've been a huge assault on the population because they couldn't feed them. There was just not enough rice paddy fields, I guess. I don't know, but they just couldn't feed them, and there was a big, you figure the 15-year assault on the law that they laid down there about the one family or one child per family. Okay, that program went on for a generation. And then, of course, when that first epidemic went through there in the early 2000s, whatever, that Asian flu or whatever the case may be, that was another reason why they went in there and did one of these, right? And wiped out a whole bunch more. And then, of course, the 2020 CV, fiasco. And a lot of them took it. And then, of course, they got a lot of, weather warfare, direct energy. What was that stuff they were spraying all over there? That powder, that white smoke. I mean, people are just, the poor Chinese were just getting peppered, right? Now, hopefully all that stopped. But they've lost a billion people. So that's pretty scary when they can do that, And they're doing the same thing with North America and Europe. The alligators don't want the middle class to, and they don't want anybody to be smart. They just want them smart enough to go to work and pay their taxes. That's all they do. And then, of course, all the taxes that is collected, that you have to pay, that you think you have to pay, goes directly into their pocket for their evil agendas. We got to learn to understand everything that's going on here. I absolutely practice what I preach. And I've been doing it for over 20 years now. Because I saw it coming. I saw the writing on the wall. I can give you stacks and stacks of my invoices from the days of my sawmill selling wood and everything else. I never charged GST or PST. No taxes were charged. They left me alone. They didn't even try to confront me on it because they know it was illegal. Good morning to you. Yes, you can use apple cider vinegar. You're talking about your foot bath? Absolutely. It's great stuff. You can use white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. How's it going, Michelle? Hey, Joe Burke, or who is Joe Burke? I'm not sure. How's it going, Sherry? Welcome, Australia. Yes, I put the time in through Sydney because that's the only one that's on our time clock. I don't know Melbourne. I know Australia is such a massive continent. Mary from Scotland's in the house. How you doing, dear? Arkansas. Geez, that's a tough one to get. I can never pronounce that properly. Yeah. Dudley, how you doing? Oklahoma, top of Texas, and Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas. Yeah, to the right. Thank you very much. I'm going to look into that. Just give me, yeah, I'm going to just kind of, so I get my head around it. You're Joe Burke from Ireland. How you doing? Thank you for printing everything in capital letters for me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Why does it have so much electrical in those data centers? As the fiber optics, what, electric chairs? I don't know. It's just a joke. I'm not sure. But they're going to have to, there's going to be some serious consequences for these alligators. They don't even know it's coming yet. Anyways, let's get on with the news. All right. Where are we? Okay. Okay, I already got that one done there yesterday. Okay. Now, I didn't do that one. Maybe I did or maybe I didn't, but I'm going to read it again, okay? As of 11 a.m. Eastern, okay? This is a military, what you call it, on their Substack that had come out as a alert or, a warning or whatever. But it says, as of 11 a.m., and this is the military putting out this statement, okay, the grid system is locked and into unity frequency. The, let me just see. All systems went to green. Sorry for the printing. I can't hardly read it here. I got bad lighting. The QFS mainframe is confirmed. Okay. Now the global balance is all in stability, and it's all in ready to go. The world is now operating on truth code. No corruption can enter it. Okay. This is the statement they're putting out, and they're just doing these things that are happening right now. Now, this is about this new quantum financial system. No compromise will be tolerated, okay? High-risk accounts were flagged, and then they were frozen. So that's on all the dirty accounts around the world that have been taken out. They've all been frozen and flagged and frozen. Names known to only the military at one time are now being released to the public. Gitmo is full. Many other detainee tribunal centers are also full. Tribunals in new locations offshore. You see what I'm saying? In new locations. So there's tribunals going on all around the world right now. The new school program, this is really good. The new school programs that are coming out now, okay, are being rolled out for children to be taught who they really are under consciousness programs. So the old system's going, okay? No more indoctrination. They're going to be taught and given and open all their God-given talents, because we have never been taught that. Okay, prepare for the next phase of that's coming. Okay, uh, where the power comes back. Once the power comes back on the reset, okay, new screens will come on, new maps, new missions. Account, just act accordingly to what's coming on when we get onto the other side. Stay strong, stay close to God. Nothing will be the same. Okay, nothing's going to be the same from the old Matrix. Everything's going to be all the old. That's what I'm saying. We got to kind of move out of there now. And I'm talking about mortgages and anything that you got debt loads out there. They're trying to deal with these cars right now with all this gasoline, the E50, which I'll get into. There's a way to, we might have to go all out there, and I'll talk about that in a second, though. But my point is right now, what's going to happen is that, there's a lot of people out there, and and they got their hearts in the right spot, and they're out there trying to announce and report all the shit that's going on. But we're here. Our beautiful patriot family is here to understand it, but also prepare ourselves for it, and that's what we're here for. We're here to prepare and avoid and have that consciousness to avoid all this bullshit that's going to happen. So we have to stay strong. We have to stay calm. We have to, get good with your God, and remember what Jesus has said. Everything that's out there, okay, is that you're looking for, and talking to God. Talk right here. This is where you talk. He said that's what you have to do. Okay? You have to talk within yourself. That's extremely important. Okay? So, act accordingly. Stand strong. Nothing will be the same. You are part of the great transfer, okay, in human history. You are going to be a part of that. And that's what they're saying. Act accordingly. Think about and have God walk along beside you with what we're going to do. As far as the humanitarian work goes, as far as anything else that you desire to do, people that are, over 60 will not have to worry about any type of humanitarian. It's going to be strictly voluntary. People, the ones that are, up to 24, 25 years old, I believe, will not get anything unless they're inherited from their parents or whatever. But I think it's really up to about 60 years old. They're going to have to work or not work as hard, but they will have to have some kind of a job or something to go to in order to receive a universal income. Okay? Now, California, in this election, it's a big, huge thing. That's what it is. And you're going to see any type of election that's out there around the world right now is this thing. The white hats are going to let them go and do whatever illegal crap that they want to do in order to for them to expose their crime. And I'm going to just say, for all you alligators out there that are trying this to steal elections, the penalty for that is very, very severe. Okay? Now, let's just jump into these NPCs a little bit here. And I just want to know, because I want all my patriots out there to be aware of your surroundings, especially right now, and practice about their awareness and practice about staying safe out there right now. NPCs are soulless, okay? They're soulless ones. The real numbers are less than 6 billion on the planet, okay? We have 2 plus out of those 6 billion, we have more than 2 billion that are NPCs, completely programmed. Okay? The NPCs have no biological consciousness. Okay? They're completely programmed to the system, completely connected. And that, once you learn the difference about their negativity, and you have people out there talking about, the hate and whatever, and I hate him and I hate him, just like what Robert De Niro's doing out on stage right now. He's a complete NPC, right? And and a lot of them are like that. He's and whatever, consciously he maybe had at one time or another, he's completely lost it because, and he's guilty of sin for the things that he has done. And that's why he's fighting for his life by saying the things. And it's not going to help him anything. It's just all it's going to do is expose him more. And there's a lot of them out there on that campaign. And the people that follow those people also are in the NPC category. Okay. And the people or their speakers or their influencers get them all fired up, and they're getting really fired up right now. And, anybody with a red hat or anything like that, you think it was bad during the first election, it's going to get a lot worse because, and this is why we have, our ICE out there doing the things they're going. But I see military starting to take action now. And we're talking about special forces, Marines, and airborne, and so on and so forth. I mean, there are Rangers out there, special operators, tier 1, tier 2, 3, 4, 5 operators out there, and they've got their targets hitting, and you're going to start seeing this starting to unfold. I believe it's going to start in California. I believe that's what's going to happen. And I believe that there's a lot of pressure on these blue cities. They're waiting waiting for the green light there. Okay. Now, these NPCs don't have a biological. I'm just going to say these NPCs vessels have nothing driving them beyond their basic programming. Okay, so they've already been programmed, and they've been programmed to disrupt your life. As case in point, the poor Irishman that just got his, just died from a knife, from attacks. Okay. That's what they're going to try to do. They have no feeling. They don't have no consciousness about the ramification for this blatant attack murder happened on the streets of Ireland. Okay. They have absolutely no conscience, and it's just like this Daiwagi guy that stabbed Newark in England, killed the boy with 5 stab wounds on his chest with this 6-inch dagger. I mean, why would that even be allowed? But that's the problem, because we have a corrupt system inside England, and these cops that are there have their orders from the evil side of that situation. Now, Trump right now, and you're saying, well, why doesn't Trump all stop this and stuff? He's trying to stop it. But first of all, he has to stop the trap line, the financial trap lines, or their trap lines that, their financial tentacles that are into many, many different societies around the world. England has been operating like this since the 17th century. Okay. With their galleons and their ships and their British, longboat, and not their warships that were chasing the pirates back in the day. And they called them pirates, but they were actually rebels. They did not want any part to do with what was going on in England, and they didn't want to be ruled over by their monarchy. Okay. So they've had 400, 500, 600 years, of these taking over countries and manipulate them. So that's where all this stuff comes into. And, Trump is cutting all that off. And if they got no money, they got no silver, right? then how are they going to finance all this stuff? Okay, I just heard that Stommer went on his hands and knees, kissing Xi Jinping's ass to ask for 700 million ounces of silver. Now, Xi Jinping said, "No problem. We're going to give that to you. We're going to, we'll cover that debt, but they're going to pay this interest, which is going to put England in even deeper debt." He says, "Oh, by the way," Sommer says, "Oh, by the way," he says, "can you send half of it to India?" You know what I mean? So they had a debt with India of 350 million ounces of silver that they had to collect on. Okay, the UFC fight at the White House isn't canceled. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's great news. I thought it would be, but let's just see how that plays out. Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment. So, is that going to be on the 15th or the 14th? Non-player, yeah. NPCs are non-player characters. An individual who appears alive but lacks the self-awareness in the soul. Yes, exactly right. Thank you. We cannot carry any kind of weapon in Melbourne, not even pepper spray. Okay. Well, that's because you got the demonics running the whole show. But, okay, now, that's pretty crazy, not to even have pepper spray, okay? But let's use our imagination, okay? Brothers and sisters, in the land of Oz, you got good imagination on things that you can do to protect yourself, okay? Think about it, okay? You have long sleeves, or I know it's hot out there right now, but there's things that you can train yourself, in self-defense, if you want to do that. If you're older, then I would conceal it. If they're saying you cannot have pepper spray, can you buy it? Okay, you can make your own solution, right? You can put your own solutions and make that stuff up yourself, right? Can you have don't you have cattle prods down there? Electrical cattle prods for cattle, right? That works. And those are metal, you can have, everybody can walk around with a cane, have a nice metal piece of copper. Now, the copper will be a great piece, right? Because then you can get an inch and a half, and put a nice copper elbow on it on the bottom side, put a cap on the bottom, and you got a beautiful cane there, and you use the thick wall, and you can use that, and you just say it's a cane, right? And you can walk around there with that cane. It's just nice to have. And you could put the cane, have a strap on it and put the cane over your back. And people ask, and they'll say, "Oh, how come you got the cane strapped around your back down there?" Just say, "Well, sometimes I need it because my legs are sore." We have to outsmart these guys. We have to outsmart them. Like, I've got, a 5-foot cane that I'm working on right now, and I put an elbow on it with a cap on it and a cap down at the other end. But what I did, I went to a 2-inch, and that's pretty heavy. You can, kill a bull with a good right hit over the head. And that is, it was just a little bit too heavy. It was a little bit too heavy for me. So I'm going to back it off and maybe go to maybe a 1-inch or an inch and a half, which is going to be a little bit lighter. But I'm going to play around with it, and then I can have that, and I'll be able to, go on airports, and, because I look like I'm a little bit older guy, I could walk around there with my cane and whatever. And then I've got a kind of a weapon, right? It's not really a weapon. It's something, because I got a bad knee, right? I do. So sometimes it does get sore if I'm standing it'd be nice to lean on something. So to have that, and then copper, and don't put any rubber on the bottom of that copper. Keep it with a nice thick copper cap on it, weld that on there. So you have that grounding ability to, because every shoe or slipper or anything out there, they all have rubber soles that keep you disconnected from your grounding ability from our beautiful Mother Earth, right? So, yeah, let's start mass producing copper canes. And this will take care of a lot of problems. If that old guy that got killed, he could have maybe defended himself if he had a nice, strong piece of 1.5-inch copper cane, 4 feet, 5 feet, whatever. He could have maybe defended himself, right? 4 months on crutches, torn PCL. Yeah, I have a cool wooden handmade walking stick. Very good. Keep it. A walking stick is nice. It's wood, but if you want to ground yourself, okay, because if you can't get it through your feet, you're going to have to put, hold on to it and walk on the ground and put your cane on the ground, and that will do the same thing, because you need that copper contact, okay, to keep your body alkalined. Let's just put it this way. There's a lot of people out there that have say they're in livestock and they got a farm or anything like that, and the water gets stagnant. So they pour a lot of water into their troughs, and they got to keep them, all the algae out of it. Or maybe they have ponds with, fish in there or whatever. Throw copper in the water. That'll clean them out, and it'll clear it all up, okay, for all the water to where it's drinkable. Plus, it's very, very good for the animals. Do you see the importance of copper? Do you see the importance of what it's going to be like with having copper? And like I said before, copper, when I went into the warehouse there, just downtown, and the guy was really good, very, very nice guy. And he said, no problem. And he gave me that, 6-foot piece of 2-inch pipe of copper, which was, he priced it out at $480. Well, it was over $500 with taxes. Okay. Just for that one piece. So you see the value of this copper based on what they're trying to sell. I went down to the back with him. He says I was allowed to go back into the warehouse with him to look for some scrap pieces. And, they have scrap pieces left over. They get to accumulate so much of it, and then of course they bag it all up and then take it to the what do you call it, the scrapyard, okay, and then they get paid for that. But there was rows and rows and rows of 12-inch pipe, straight pipe, very, very rigid pipe. So I know it's all over the place. I mean, there had to be $2 million worth of copper there, okay, and that is only I'm only talking about. At $6 American, maybe $8-10 Canadian per pound. Can you imagine what that stuff would be like, or how much expensive it would be if it goes to $100 an ounce, which it will, because of the importance of it. All the old hospitals, before all the hospitals were taken over by the Rockefeller Foundation, had copper door handles. They had all their railing going up and downstairs were all done in copper. Because you were grounding yourself every time you touch with them, and it was a healing apparatus. Okay? They also had courtyards that were for sunbathing. Okay? They'd wheel them out there, and they'd put them out in the sun, and they'd have 15-20 minutes a day of getting cleaned and purified when full of vitamin D. So you see where I'm going with all this, right? Yes, you can get wasp spray. That's a great idea. I mean, I know it's not great, but wasp spray, it's got an injector on there, right? Keep it in your purse. You don't have to go get the big canister. You can get maybe the mid-sized canister, and there's all kinds of stuff out there. We have to use our imagination. You have to protect yourself. Okay. I'm going to, when I go to back overseas, I'll be, probably grabbing something. I'll have my cane built, and it'll be set, because those airports, especially in Vancouver Airport, There are a lot of shady looking people there. I'll tell you, we're not back in Kansas anymore. Thank you for the that comment, though. Appreciate it. Do they sell copper canes? Maybe they do, but it's easy enough to build one. I think an inch and a half by 4 feet. You can go down to any hardware store and buy that, and get a cap for each end, and then put an elbow or whatever, how you want to make up the other end. And yeah, and you can even, if you wanted to really go, what's the word for it? Go maverick on it. You could actually have copper melt down the center of the pipe and fill it up so it's solid. But of course, that'd be quite heavy. But yeah, I mean, you'd be able to break concrete with that cane. Okay. There's a lot. I mean, you could put copper on it. Like if you've got a wooden cane, you can put a copper cap on the bottom and then attach a wire and wrap it up the wood all the way up to, and then make a handle out of the wrap wire at the top so you're connected. That also works. Yeah. You can put copper in your pools, in your sauna, and that keeps the water all purified. You have to use chlorine. This is all about the reprogramming ourselves and retraining ourselves. And that's why I'm saying the concept, the illiteracy of the 21st century will not be that you're not able to read and write. It'll be having to retrain ourselves for all the lies that we've been taught. That's going to be the real big problem. But the separation is going on now. I believe in my heart that the galactics that are out there, will not ascend yet until we get to our consciousness goes to a certain elevation, and our awareness, and knowing that we do have enemies called alligators on this planet that are still out there, and they have a cloned army that is keeping us suppressed. That's why they changed all the piping. Exactly. They took it all out, and then they went and sold it on the market, and they replaced it with polypropylene, which is absolute garbage. So you're eating, every time you drink some water, even you run it through the filter, you still all have those microplastics going into your body. That's why we're full of it right now. They used to throw pennies in the field to keep the veggies growing. Yes, absolutely. I mean, our ancestors knew all about this stuff, right? Copper is such a important ingredient and metal for this planet, right? Yeah. Thank you for the comment there. Appreciate that. Copper was used by ancient Egyptians to heal, and they were used right up till the 1800s in hospitals. Anything that people had to touch, they even had copper pens. Okay, when they're, back in the day, all these things were copper because it neutralized, right? And then even today, I mean, I wear copper here, right? And I get a lot of this. This here is in the Philippines, is $10, in between $8 and $10. That piece right there, okay? And it's got the magnets and everything. So, like I said, I would not buy anything in Canada or the United States right now because you're just getting hosed. Speaking of getting hosed, let's get into this E15. Anybody interested in talking about that? Let's not talk about the problem because they're trying to hit every gas station with this E15. Now, I got a way around this thing, okay? This is what we do. You know how you got these water bottles, clear water bottles, and they're about 5 gallons or whatever. They got a handle on it, whatever. Go out and invest in one of them. I think they're $6, $7, right? Go out and buy one of them, then take it down to the gas station and go with the E15 fuel, fill up your tank, and it'll say usually those bottles go up to 8.89.2 liter. Okay, so this is Canada, right? But 89.2 liter. So you'll be able to regulate and see what's going into that can, exactly what you're paying for. Okay, that's number one. If they're cheating you, you can call them right there, call them out on it, right? I guess apparently you're still going to have some room to the top, so you put some water in there. And I guess the water will react with the ethanol that is now 15%. It'll go to the bottom. The water and the ethanol will go to the bottom of the can. And then at that point, you can pour that into a funnel to another jerry can, pour it out until it starts, gets to the water and the ethanol. Then you've got basically your fuel is now back up to almost 97% unleaded fuel. Okay, that is the way to do it. Now, I haven't done a test on it yet. I know it's a pain in the ass, but in order to keep our vehicles running, we might have to do this until we find a better filtering system. Important to take copper top. Yes, it's important to take copper. Yes. Great for the brain, ESP, and, with certain, yes, I know. And there is, you can do it through the skin, which I find it much easier. There is the iodine you can take. This is iodine here. Okay. And that has, this is really, it's not, it's for the intake, but I find it not very appetizing for the taste. So you put it in, with some food and whatever, and you'll get that iodine inside you. Now, they are starting to put salt out there as far as iodine. Salt is extremely important for your daily intake because it neutralizes, it kills all the parasites in you, along with garlic. Garlic is the greatest one vegetable, or whatever you want to call it, item that will kill parasites. It's other than yerba mate tea, it's 100 times stronger than anything else that's out there on the market. So I know everybody's going to have a little bit of garlic stink to them, but you know what? You're going to be clean of parasites, and I'm okay with that. You can use your turmeric, you can use your cumin, and your oreganos and all this other stuff. That's fine for your cooking. Don't be scared. The packages are quite cheap in the store. Can we buy copper from Money Metals Exchange? Yeah, if it's available. You have to go online and check to see if it's available. If not, they'll say out of stock. I know that the places I buy is out of stock. Now, when I get down to Vancouver, I'm going to certainly be hitting VBCE, which is Vancouver Bullion and Currency Exchange. In Vancouver. There's like 5 locations down there. I've been dealing with them for a while. There's also Border Metals or Border Gold down there as well, and they're really good. And you can deal with that right over the counter, and you just get there and ask them if they have any copper available. I don't know if they're dealing with copper yet, but I know that once the reset happens, copper is going to go from $6 a pound to $60 or $100 an ounce. I just know it. I believe they don't have enough silver for what their demand is worldwide, with all the satellites and the cars and lithium doesn't have a future. Lithium batteries do not have a future. Copper copper, which will be copper conductors in cars. I believe eventually they'll use copper for electric cars. I believe that's how it's going to fly. And silver is, I believe gold is heavier than silver, and silver is heavier than copper. I think. But I think that's how it's working. But this is what we're going to see in our future. Yeah. They're using the copper for beds, and the healing for patients. Yeah. It heals you. That's what it does. It heals you. So the more copper you wear, I think it's even more effective than silver is. Okay. And they had linen sheets. Exactly. Thank you very much. I forgot about that one. All the hospitals had linen sheets because it had a certain frequency to them, a very, very high frequency. And it was very, very good for your skin. And it just feels so much better. Okay. I mean, silk as well. Silk, that was in what was done in the Far East back in the day. Yeah, that was all done organically through the, silk butterflies, whatever they're doing, the cocoon stuff, right? And that was really big in China. Yep. Wasp spray is 24 feet. There you go. I mean, yeah, right on. Everybody go out there and get a box of it. Get a good supply of it. Because as soon as they figure out that we're all buying it, they might take it off the market. Shoots, yeah. Well, it could shoot 5 feet or 24 feet. Who cares as long as it, I know it has a spray, like a shot spray to it, right? Yeah. You're very welcome for the great ideas. Yes, we have to have them. We got to take care of ourselves. Teas, I mean, you can make, just from your spice rack, you can make up all kinds of teas. Yeah. Just throw them in there with your, get a little pot and get your water boiling and throw whatever you want in there, right? And finish it off with honey and lemon and throw whatever you want in there, right? And finish it off with honey and lemon. And it'll taste great. Yeah. Yeah, I can go down into the outdoorsman, mountain man, and pick up anything like that. Anything, Canada's still got bows and arrows and crossbows and big, hunting knives and all that stuff. You can really go to town if you want to spend the money. I mean, I can look like Crocodile Dundee coming out of there, right? Or Grizzly Adams. Yeah, I could. But I like the copper idea because you're able with the copper cane because you can keep grounding yourself. Now you're not going to ground yourself if you're say in an airport, right? You can also put hydrogen peroxide in the pools, yeah. But you can also put it in your foot bath too, right? Remember that, yeah. And that hydrogen peroxide will suck all that metals out of you. Keep it in there for as long as you want to. Keep your feet in there. Half hour. Piece of wood, yep, with some copper nails at the end of it. That works as well. But as long as you tie the wire, because you want to have that connector, right? You want to have a connector from the ground to your hand. And then it doesn't matter what kind of shoes you put on, you're still being grounded. I'm just throwing ideas out there for you. You wear grounding shoes? Well, I didn't even know they make them. Yeah. What time did I start? I started at 1 hour and 13 minutes ago at 7 a.m. Calgary time. Yeah. Blowtorch on the side of the couch with hairspray. Oh, there you see what I mean? A lighter and hairspray. Keep it in the purse, right? Throw a 6-foot flame out. They'll be running. See, you guys you're on top of it, right? Where do you get the copper? You can buy it at the hardware store, any building supply yard. I go into the wholesalers in the industrial area, and they'll say plumbing or I like to go to plumbing. If you want to build yourself stuff, then you go into the electrical because they got little wee fine copper wire. Very the gauge is very small on them, and then you can weave yourself bracelets and necklaces and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's really nice to work with. There's guys that are actually building necklaces right now, and of course they take the rod and they wheel the other lighter gauge copper around it. And then of course they got to snip it all. They weld. I mean, doing the chain is quite intensive. But once they get it all all the links put together, then they put it on a vise and they twist it and keep twisting it until all these links become flat. They twist themselves to a flat part, And then, of course, they once they do it that to that part, then they just take a buffer and buff it all out, and there's your necklace. But you can get copper anywhere. Saltwater pools, yes. But don't be scared to go get your pool out there, and then and the salt is so good for your skin, and then it gets into your blood and kills all the parasites. You can go out there and get a box of salt. And I'm seeing in Canada right now, they're putting the iodine or iodized salt back in the boxes. They're not taking it out. So I think that is a great move because I never did see it before. I was having to always import my salt back from the Philippines. Okay. You need C1, C2 copper cups. Yes. Pictures, huge differences in the good or bad health benefits. Yeah. Be careful what you're out there buying. And this is where we have to go when we're online. Again, we got to watch what we're buying because there's a lot of scamming and a lot of phony knockoffs. It needs to be in a book given to everyone. Yes, I know. We need to healing alternatives. Yes, we need books like that to come out. And then everybody can. But there's a lot of this stuff is online right now. Just got to research it. Just ask the question, and I'm sure you'll get the answer. Yeah, you got copper pipes in your house? If you do, don't sell your house, right? Because that basically neutralizes all the city water that's coming in. Now you should still have a copper filter, right? And you should have a copper fairway bag for your phones and electronic. So the EMF doesn't, because we're getting bombarded with EMF as well. My husband put copper piping in our house. That was very smart of him. Yeah. Electroculture. Is that what they call it? Well, I call it a healing apparatus, and that electroculture works for me. How you doing, Becca? Where in Canada can I buy copper mugs? Well, that's a tricky situation. You can go to antique sales, garage sales and stuff like that. Check around that way, or even have it made up. You can have there's blacksmiths out there, fabricators. You give them a whole pile of copper, they'll come back and get you some cups. You know what I mean? Metal fabricators, welding shops. Yeah, they'll make up copper cups for you. Just say, listen, I got all this copper here. Can you, smelt it down and make me some nice copper cups? That way it's pure copper. We don't know what the stuff is when you're ordering it online. We just don't. Like if I wanted to go get some copper, like I could take these pipes right now because they're 2-inch. That's about that. They're that thick. So I could have a tumbler, right? With a cap on the bottom with a flat piece of copper. And I can use that for, drinking my water out of. I just haven't, I've been getting sidetracked. I do have buddies that are, ready to smelter up some silver. His boy has got what do you call it? A urine and the heating stuff and all this, stuff to melt down copper for all the scrap copper and stuff like that. And he's been making bars, putting bars together and stuff like that. And, that's something I really wanted to get into, but now I'm having to go back down to Vancouver. So, I'm going to put that, put that on the sidelines. But I think once I get to the Philippines, I'll probably start that up. Yeah. I get spring water to drink for free. Well, you're very fortunate. Yeah. And fill up my 10-liter containers. Good for you. Well, you just have to know that it's copper. It'd have to be copper inside. Usually, if they have a cup, right? I'll show you a cup here. Okay. See, this here is a cup. That's a copper cup. Look inside. Different color. Not copper. Stainless steel. So what they've done is they just put a copper liner on it, right? So this is one of the scams that they scam me on. right? And it's not copper, as you can see. You can see inside the different color. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Well, there you can see right there. That's stainless steel, wrapped in copper. So if the thing was turned inside out, it'd be fine. But that's just what it is. So you gotta, like I said, go get some cups made up. Uh, take some copper. You can go over to buy some scrap copper. Just say, is there any scrap copper I can, buy? You can go into a supply yard and just say, do you have any scrap copper I can buy? Then you bag up that scrap copper, and then you take it over to a metal manufacturer or a fabricator and say, hey, listen, can you make some cups out of this? And they're going to say, oh, well, yeah, we can do. It probably costs you about $60, $70 per cup. Well, you can negotiate, make a deal with them, whatever, but that's going to be a lot safer doing it that way. Then you've always got those cups available. They're there for life. They're there for generations once they're made. But you're going to see, like the silverware is all disappearing. The silverware, the Filipinos right now in the Philippines, there is, they call it black market. Okay. They're little kiosk places. They're setting them up everywhere, and they get guys on, with weight and the silver detectors, and they're doing all this stuff, and they're buying all the silverware. So if it clicks, if it works for them and it checks out to 9.25 sterling silver, whatever, they're buying it and giving the Filipino cash for it. They're already capitalizing on it. So because they know where silver is going to go. I like it says, I was selling silver for 5,800 pesos per ounce, which is big money. Big money there, right? That's like, if you got, it's like $5,800 here for 1 ounce, but I'm in the Philippines, so it's 5,800 pesos. You see, it's all relative. So I was getting that, so I sold, I think it was 4 rolls or 2 rolls, whatever. I got a million pesos for that silver exchange at that time. Now it's gone down to 52.80 now, and that's 44 to 1, 44 pesos for every 1 Canadian dollar. So if you had American money, it'd be 60 to 1, right? So I'm just saying that, if you have, that's why I only travel with silver, because Canadian money's not accepted anywhere anymore. And I don't blame them, right? The government hands us out pension, whatever. We go down, cash a check, and we got all this stupid, funny plastic money that has absolutely zero wealth to it, value to it. So what alternatives do we have here? We have no alternative. We either buy, gold, silver, copper, platinum, or palladium. Okay. I say copper. Copper's not part of the precious metal. It's an industrial metal, but I think it's going to be it's going to be a precious metal because there isn't enough silver on the planet for the demand. They're like over 700 million ounces short every year. 700 million. That's almost a billion. It's almost a billion ounces a year they're short for the demand. So nobody, and I don't care who it is out there, even Trump, he cannot convince me that silver is going to be at $70 an ounce. There's just no way. Not when the demand is there. And when other countries right now are paying 30% to 50% more premium than they are at the COMEX or on, stateside. Okay. They're only paying inside North America and what they see on the COMEX and all the data boards and the graph sheets and everything, $70, $70, that's all it is. Well, this is a great time to go out and buy it. Right. Yeah. You've been doing copper sticks in my greenhouses for almost a decade, and now we tested with a meter charge. Interesting. Are you getting better crops? Yeah. Yeah, sugar is not is our enemy. Yeah, that's what cancer thrives on. Now I can buy honey. Like honey is not sugar, but because they come from the bee, and there's a huge attack on beehives, and there's a huge attack on beehives right now. The alligators are trying to wipe them out with all this aerial metal spraying and you know all this crap that's going out there in the sky. It's playing havoc because the metals are going everywhere on all over the plants and the animals and these pilots that are piloting them, they have no family. They're programmed right from the get-go through military. They are then pre-trained into being pilots through the Air Force and the military industrial complex to go out there and pilot themselves. So they got nothing to lose. The only way that we can catch them is when they land. And, at that point, and that's what they're doing right now. So we're seeing less and less, but they pick their time and their hours. And, the infiltration in trying to poison this planet is in so many different levels. The alligators have got their tentacles everywhere, right? Can't remember if it's giants or Bigfoot, but they have copper in their blood. Yes, I think you're right. Yeah, and that's why they survive so long. I mean, we're going to have like this copper stuff, and going through these um, crystalline beds and chambers and everything else. Expect to live way beyond 120 years old. I mean, many people out there in the Far East and around the world are living almost to that now, and that's without any crystalline chambers. But we, if they can live that long, why can't we? Well, it's because we are the ones getting poisoned. They're not, or if they are, they're able. Their body chemistry and DNA is able to adapt. Yeah, probably why they taught us to throw a penny in the fountain to make good to make a wish. Well, that quite possible, and it was one of those things that it was purifying the water. Of course, the city greed, or if you go in these big fountains or whatever, they'd sneak around at night. The city'd sneak around at night and take it all out and start all over again. That's how they brought some of their voluntary taxes in. Yeah. When will Canada get help from our criminal cartel or from the criminal cartels called the government? Well, they're going to be taken off the chessboard pretty soon, right? I mean, their pantomime agenda is just about coming to an end. You see how the cornball is now talking about, we're going to make America great through Canada and all this other stuff. Well, they're starting to sing a different tune now. So, and it's kind of funny how this is being done, because it's a psychological warfare that's going on. Because now you got what he did was, or what the white hats controlling this apparatus, this pantomime, this movie. They put Canada against the United States by this hate, what's going on. Okay, so they got all the lefties, the lunatic lefties, all of a sudden Carney does an about face 360 and starts saying, how things are probably going to work out just fine, and will so now the left lunatic lefties are they threw their arms down. They're going, now what, right? Okay, I mean, now what, do we still follow Carney into this? Because this is not what we wanted. So their minds are really getting messed around, and that's why they're losing their shit. I mean, they're losing everything. They have nothing but, you know, but they're too dumb to be scorned, because they won't realize the embarrassment. and you just can't fix stupid. You just can't. And these people a lot of them are probably, jabbed up NPCs, trying to, they will go in there and sacrifice themselves with all this thing by saying, oh, yeah, well, this is really good. I've got 5 or 6 of these things already, right? Because they're programmed to do that and say that. And then, of course, all the Christ conscious people that just want to do good things, which is called the sleepers, they, of course, they start listening to them. They'll never listen to me, you know, they wouldn't. And I proved that back in 2019 when I was going around there. I was very, very vocal back then about, this is all a big, it was a big agenda. I knew it. I just knew it. God told me, says, stay away from it. It's bad. And, we all saw that. We saw, the intuitives out there saw through all the, through all the obscurity, right? And we didn't buy into it. And we've been voicing our opinions to where we are getting so tired to try to voice our opinions. So let them go do whatever they want to do. Let the marbles fall where they fall. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll try to get some through. Oh, yeah. Or drain the ethanol off. Well, see, that's the problem. The ethanol, something has to, somebody said you got to throw water in with the ethanol, and that they combine and put the ethanol and water to the bottom, and the gasoline rises to the top. You leave it like that overnight. Okay? I know it's a pain in the butt, but if you do one of these 89, I think it's 89 liter on these drums, and they're clear, you'll be able to see the difference in color. And then you just strain it off, right? You can pour it off. Now, might be different way, maybe even siphon it off, right? You can get those little siphon here with a handle on it, just like this here. Put the hose in there, and siphon it off into another another container. It's a pain in the ass, but if you want your car to run, we gotta go through this. Did you guys not? Oh, did you guys not know peanuts contain copper? I didn't know that. I know that pumpkin seeds are extremely good for you, and I throw sea salt in with it. And I eat them all the time when I'm in the Philippines. Yeah. I got a testimony to say here quickly. When I live in the Philippines I used to have to go through a week of dysentery just because you're going into the tropics. I'm not like that anymore because I've been there since 1990, back and forth. Okay, I wish I had $1 for every plane ride, but what I'm saying is that once you go through that, after about 4 or 5 weeks there, you really feel a burst of energy and health, and you look so much younger, and there's all kinds of things. And I know coming to Canada, it's very, very hard inside Canada, even in the West here, and I can't even imagine if you're in the city, to stay healthy. Everybody looks so sickly here, especially the ones that are in the city. And it's because there's 2 reasons why. Everything that's on the shelf is poison, and they're not taught how to take care of themselves. And all that's going to change through this new schooling. Yeah. You will get pure gas if you siphon it off and then pour out the ethanol and water. And it's not it's environmentally friendly because it just evaporates. Ethanol with water, you know how it does. You know the game. It'll just evaporate. So just put it in an open pan or whatever. If you don't want to put it in the ground, just put it in an open pan and it'll evaporate and it's gone. Then you just turn around and do it the next day. Do it every time you need some. E15 is poison to our rigs. Absolutely. E15, the ethanol E15 will wipe out all your seals, your hoses, your plastic hoses, anything to do with and your carburation, your pistons. It'll burn your injectors. It's insane. And they put it in there so people break down their cars more, and they have to take them to they keep you broke. That's what they're trying to do. They keep you broke. They don't want rich people. That's why they tax the shit out of us, right? See, they hate me right now. They absolutely hate me. Okay? Because I'm healthy. And there's iodine in oranges as well, yes. But you'll see it all over the place, especially, go check the shelves on the salt and everything. And as I was saying, okay, the government hates me right now because I'm healthy. I do not use any of their matrix products, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs, anything like that, right? Okay. I use supplements and organic stuff and whatever the case may be to keep myself healthy, right? Plus, I'm collecting my pension back, okay, for what they had, or what I had to pay them. If I would be happy to trade everything that I worked for and given them taxes over my career to trade them, but this is my way of getting my money back, I believe. I mean, that pension is, so, I mean, I would have to live to be 160 years old to get all my money back for what they owe me. But, this is the war that we're playing right now. They want us old people to die off so they don't have to pay us a pension. That's what they want. And we're fighting back by staying healthy. Make sense? Okay, Celtic salt is good, yes. You can put it on your skin, iodine, absolutely. It's great. I mean, if you don't want to take it internally, like you can take this stuff here, like I could take it right here, right? Just like this here, okay? It's red. That's what it's going to come out at. Your skin's going to turn red. But if you want to put it on your toenails or any type of infection you got, I got a bit of a bad toe. It's an ingrown, whatever you call it. I throw that stuff on there, and it stings a bit, but it's I know it's cleaning it out, right? My dogs and I take kelp. That's there you go. Kelp or what do they call it? Sea moss or whatever they call that is really extremely good for you. That is iodine, pure iodine. My little guy, my 8-year-old, my youngest son, he just loves it. He'll go get a whole thing of rice and he'll go get a bag of sea kelp. And that's he just loves it. He said doesn't want to put nothing else on it. And then of course he has a little side dish of shrimp. That's his kick. So, and he's healthy as a horse. Yeah. I kind of find it funny because, he's Filipino, but he's also, Canadian. And, so he's in this basketball. So this is kind of funny. And I get laughing because he doesn't have the basketball skills as the Filipino does, but he's also, 1/3 bigger than they are. Right? So he's kind of like when he ever gets his gears kicked into gear, he might be a real threat on the basketball court. Yeah. Thank you for that comment. Yes, salt is very good for you. And you could put, if you want, there's different products you can put out there. I use a sea salt from the Philippines. Comes right out of the ocean. It's very, very strong. And I put that shit on everything, right? Yeah. So listen, I'm old guy, right? 71 years old. I feel good. I feel strong. Some days, like I say, it's a little bit hard on the knee, but this is what I'm going to build this cane. And then I have a good walking stick. And if I don't want to use the walking stick, I'll just strap that to my pack sack and get on the plane. But I think it's just good to have, hanging around. And you can have, let's put it this way. You can get one even 2 or 3 feet long, right? And you can have it hanging off your hip. And of course the cops will say, what's that for? And you'll say, well, didn't you know? This is my grounding to keep my body alkaline. And they'll look at you like you're talking from another planet, right? But they don't know any better. They are the stupidest people on the planet. They are NPCs that have been totally programmed, right down to the this. However many times, if they say, well, okay, it's your month to go out there and get another jabberoonie, right? Then they'll be lined up there like little sheep, Then they go back out there and, maybe half will drop and then they'll say, okay, bring the next bunch in. We'll sign them up. That's exactly how stupid they are. They don't know shit. And you can see this. So all this overlord stepping above and beyond the law, crossing the line with all kinds of citizens. And they're just getting busted everywhere. Right? How you doing, Big Joe? Yeah, pumpkin seeds are I know. Yeah, peanuts are very good. My woman eats peanuts every day. I don't know. She got a kick on them. Yeah. And then of course she has lots of energy. She's 48 years old. She's got lots of energy. She goes to her Zumba and her whatever you call that stuff. And I tell you, it's so hot down there, just going to the bathroom, you start sweating because it's just, the humidity is way over 100%. Yeah. So, but everything's clean down there. It doesn't matter what you eat. It's still clean. It comes fresh out of the ocean to the market. And then you're right there. I find it very good because they don't have any refrigeration there. There's some places in there that does, but they, get it right onto the counters and you buy it right away and take it home, and that's your food for the day. And that's like where we live. It's only 2 blocks away, so you can take the motor over there, or take the motorcycle, or just take a quick walk. Linen vibrates at 5,000 megahertz. Interesting. I didn't know that. So yeah, then we go out and buy linen. That's what we're supposed to be using, not all this other, polyester. How you doing, Queen La? Hello, everybody. Welcome. I sleep in copper. Oh, with copper magnets. Is that right? Interesting. And a copper necklace. And, yeah. Nice. That's very good. That's excellent. And everybody should be doing that. Do you feel better? Just like 100% linen, yeah, bed sheets. That's why they wear it, yeah, in their prayer. Makes perfect sense. Hello, Freedom. How are you? High vibration, yes. We are the beacon lights of what's going to happen on the other side. We are all precious patriots and digital warriors out there. Never forget that. I know that some are sick and ill, but we're there in spiritual and, every type of support you can think of right now. We are in a war. We've been in a war for thousands of years, and we're finally coming to the end. So if it takes a little bit longer, just hang in there. Okay. When's the EBS coming? I think we're close. I really do. I'm sure something's going to happen. It's going to guarantee to happen this year. But, there's no way it's going to go into 2027. Absolutely zero chance of that. So yes, we are only this is June 9th today. Yeah. Cayenne pepper and lemon. Yeah. I put cayenne pepper on everything. And I got friends, that do that as well. Why do you think that? Let me see. Why do you think that we all? It's the linen is in the closet. I guess, yeah. I'm not sure. Wool sheets in the hospitals, 5,000 megahertz for healing. Yes, I'm not sure. I'm just not. I'm not the teacher of this of all the fabric that's out there. But that's a good statement though. Yeah. My dad gave me a bag of electrical wiring. It's a pain in to strip it all off, but there is copper in it, and yeah, to make jewelry. Now there is copper wire peelers that you can go through. Got razor blades in there, and you just punch them through, and it'll open up the. You push it in one end and then pull it through, and it will get separate the plastic from the copper. They're pretty easy to make up, and I think I don't know exactly. I mean, go online and you can probably buy them. It's just it's wire strippers, I think it's called. Yeah, no, not both together. It's either wool sheeting or linen sheeting. Yeah, you're right. A riff machine is good. I'm not sure what that is, or a rife machine. Yeah, everybody's doing fine in the Philippines. Thank you very much. Yeah, they Mindanao were uh, um, the city that was hit there. General Santos was hit. That was on the furthest tip of Mindanao, which is if you go to the farthest north where we are, we're on the furthest tip south on the Luzon Island, and they are on the furthest tip south on Mindanao. Okay, so if you take the Philippines and you put it into British Columbia, uh, the Philippines will stretch from northern BC down to southern BC. So they're at the other end of the province, so to speak. Yeah, we didn't get hit. That area that I'm in right now is relatively safe from all kind of tsunami because we're on the inlet with all the other 7,000 islands that are there. And of course, the only threat that we have is Mount Tahal, which is kind of between Manila and us. Okay, so and it takes 4 hours to go drive from Manila to our place. It's about 4 hours. We have to go through many, many little cities, and I suppose if the roads were clear, we'd do it in 2 hours. But the traffic there, nobody. I don't know. I don't even know why people get in accidents there because everybody's going so slow, right? Sometimes you can go fast depending on the traffic. But say if Mount Tahal does, if it's an active volcano, and it blows every couple of years or whatever, but that's a good thing because it doesn't build up pressure. But when it does blow, all the ash that comes out there usually goes over to Batangas, which is because that's the wind direction, right? And unfortunately, Batangas gets nailed. But I talked to a few Filipinos from Batangas. They say it's really not that bad because the rains come and stuff like that and wash everything away. So, uh, Philippines has a natural healing process. God has been, God has done a very good job with that. Uh, Ladies, jackknife in the bra strap. There you go. There you go, ladies. Okay. Yeah, I mean, the bras can be a weapon, right? Or at least a holster, right? Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can use. I like the idea of carrying around the cattle prods. I'll tell you, you touch somebody on the other end of that, you will drop them. I've been hit a couple times. Yeah, that's when I'm working on the ranch. Oh yeah, guys, we're always hitting each other with it, right? And I tell you, when you get hit, I tell you, you're on your ass. Yeah, but that's a good idea. Keep those bras loaded, women. Yeah, I have a grounding shoe too. Excellent, good for you. I didn't know they were making them, but that's a good sign. How you doing, Maria? I'm just trying to get through all the questions here. As jewelry makers, I've worked extensively with copper wire, and people love them. Excellent. Yes, they do. And people are catching on. I believe as consciousness rises on our beautiful planet, I believe that, people are going to be more, regimental and more concerning for their health. They have basically played with our brains to make us think that life is hopeless, and I just want to move on. And I believe all that's going to change. I believe, especially in our children, we start going into this, stopping what Trump is doing now is stopping. He's writing executive orders how to stop all this indoctrination. So these socialists and NEZIs are going to be removed, and be removed harshly very, very soon. They have no idea what's coming. They still don't get it, right? You have a Faraday bag for such these occasions, exactly. And that's usually got copper in it, right? Yeah. No brain fog. Yeah. I have a bad habit because I like listening to it, but I'm trying to get the phone away from me. And that's maybe why my ears are ringing. Turn phones to light on to 4G. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know there was a 4G out there. You have copper water pitchers. Beautiful. And that'll neutralize it. As soon as that water hits it right away, it destroys all the nasties. Yeah. How you doing, Pearl? Okay, folks, I'm going to see you tomorrow there. We've been on here long enough. God bless everybody. Take care of yourselves. Stay in your foxhole and protect yourself, okay? And maybe go out there and try to do something good something nice to somebody today. God bless you. Bye now.